Students, in this presentation, I'm going to talk about lysogeny. In your syllabus, you do not have to describe the whole lytic cycle of these phages like P1, P2, P22 and mu phages, like your lambda phage and 5x170, 5x174, but you need to know how lysogeny is established in these phages P1, P2, P22 and mu phages. Okay, first we'll start with P1 phage. P1 phage, it's a icosahedral phage with a tail and tail fibrils. It's an interesting phage. This phage has a icosahedral head containing the phage DNA. This whole head structure is 220 nanometer long. A tube tail is attached to the icosahedral. The whole virion is 220 nanometer, and then there is a contractile tail or sheath is attached to the icosahedral head. The tail end has base plate with 6 tail fibrils. The P1 capsid is composed of 15 head proteins, 9 tail proteins and 4 proteins of undetermined location. In a same virion, 80% of the population can have a diameter of 85 nanometer, while 20% may have the diameter of 65 nanometer. So maximum it goes to 85 nanometer size. So why I am explaining the structure is, whenever they ask you for lysogeny, start with the virus infection, like where it will infect the, what is the receptor on the bacteria, and then how it injects the DNA, and then you start explaining the how lysogeny is established. The genome of P1 phage is a linear double-stranded DNA. That is, the total length is 94 kilobase pair. Sometimes when you see the what is packed inside the phage head, the capsid, it is longer than the actual genome size of the phage. That is, it can exceed about till 120 kilobase bases the actual length of the viral particle, because when the DNA is ready for packaging, if you remember lambda DNA, it is synthesized as concatomers, and there is an enzyme which recognizes the cos sites and breaks the linear DNA and packages inside the phage head. So in the same way, the packaging in the lytic cycle also happens, and the replication is usually later part is usually rolling circle mechanism that generates the concatomeric DNA that will get integrated into the phage head. So when you isolate a phage and see what is the length of the DNA inside the phage, it can exceed up to 120 kilobases. And due to this, the ends of the DNA molecule are identical and are referred to as being terminally redundant. As large as 15 kb of kilobase pairs, terminal redundancy can be seen. So when it is packed inside the phage, it is a linear DNA, but when the lysogeny is established, it circularizes because of this terminal redundancy and then replicates as a plasmid, that is the prophage. So in this prophage, when it's getting, the lambda phage, do you remember, it is the linear DNA. Once it is injected into the phage, it becomes circularizes, and then that is the ligation creates this circular prophage. And but in case of P1, the because of the terminal redundancy, you get a homologous recombination or homologous pairing of the terminal repeats happen, and then that produces the prophage. So there are two origin of replication after creation of this prophage, that is ORI-R, which replicates during the lysogenic cycle, and ORI-L, which replicates during the lytic cycle. The genome has totally 117 genes that can be organized into 45 operons. 4 of that is responsible to choose between lysates and lytic and lysogenic cycle, and another 4 are responsible for plasmid maintenance. Like all the plasmids, these are not like replicative. It is like one for prophage per cell that has to be maintained. For that, 4 of the proteins are responsible. The remaining 37 are involved in lytic cycle development and maintains one copy per host. Any phage has to start the its cycle. There are certain steps. That is, the first step is adsorption or the infection we say, and then there is input of the genetic material, and then there is lytic or lysogenic cycle. P1 adsorbs to the receptor on the host cell, that is terminal glucose on lipopolysaccharides present on the outer surface or outer membrane of the host cell is its receptor. Lytic transglycosylase facilitates the puncture of the bacterial cell wall. So P1 protects its tail and contracts its tail and injects its DNA into the cell. Once inside the cell, P1 DNA circularizes by homologous recombination, because this DNA, when packed, it is packed by head-full mechanism. In the next slide, I will tell you what is head-full mechanism. This can be done either by host or phage recombination system. So in the lytic cycle, when there is DNA inside the host, the plasmid or the prophage what is created has a separate origin of replication. In previous slide I mentioned, if ORI-L is activated, then there is lytic cycle formation. Early P1 replication takes place by theta mode of replication. You have the replication associated genes, that those are the early genes, and you have the late genes which are the structurally associated genes, which will produce the capsid proteins and the lysis important protein. A brief mention of lytic cycle is here. Early P1 replication takes place by theta mode of replication. Later in infection, P1 switching to the rolling cycle replication. Rolling cycle replication produces concatomers for packaging into phage heads. Approximately 45 minutes after the infection, the cells are filled with concatomers of phage DNA, assembled phage heads and assembled phage tails. Now complete phage must take place. A protein made from phage genome, Cre recombinase, recognizes a site on the concatomers of the phage DNA called as the PAC site. The protein cuts the DNA, making a double-stranded end. This end is inserted into the phage head. The DNA continues to be pushed into the phage head until the head is full. This is called the head full packaging. After the head is full of DNA, a double-stranded cut is made and the tail is attached. Once the complete attachment is done, lysis of the cell happens. Prophages can be physically located on one or two places in a lysogen. Unlike in case of lambda, the prophage genome is recombined into the bacterial chromosome. P1 contains an origin of DNA replication, that is ORI-R. Once the phage genome is converted to circular double-stranded DNA, it is maintained in the cytoplasm as stably inherited extrachromosomal piece of DNA. Coordinated DNA replication occurs in order to maintain its population in all daughter cells. That is, when a cell divides, one of the plasmid goes to one cell. So formation of transducing particles or phage particles that contain chromosomal DNA inserted instead of phage DNA can also happen. E. coli chromosome contains many pseudopack sites or sites that can be used to initiate packing of host chromosomal DNA into maturing phage. These pseudopack sites are used much less frequently than the phage pack sites. So resulting phage can randomly piece of the like can take the piece of the chromosome in place of phage genome. This ability to package any piece of chromosomal DNA instead of phage DNA makes P1 a generalized transducing phage. So that was about the P1. How lysogeny is created? The phage DNA, in case of P1, phage DNA is not integrated into the genome as the lambda phage, but it is in the circular form, that is, it is in the form of a plasmid inside the cytoplasm, and that is maintained by certain maintenance protein. The ORI L expression, that means there is repression of this ORI-L site, and there is expression of ORI-R site, which creates the, I have not given the genetic map here, but when ORI-R site there is transcription, there are plasmid maintenance proteins which are synthesized that will maintain the plasmid in the cytoplasm. The terminal repeats what will get undergo homologous recombination. That homologous recombination, because the terminal ends are from the host cell, the host cell can carry out the terminal recombination, or certain times the phage proteins, if the there is a previous infection of P1 phage, and there is one more P1 phage getting inside the host, then there can be the phage proteins available for recombination, carrying out the recombination, forming the prophage. Now coming up to the next enterobacteria phage, that is P22. This is an interesting phage because it was originally isolated as lysogen of Salmonella, and study of this has given an important development of aspects of bacterial genetics. Uh, like Initially in 1952, Zinder and Lederberg, they were trying to understand Salmonella genes, and they found out that there is general transduction carried out by this P22 phage. This observation led to studies on the mechanism of establishment of lysogeny, which contributed our correct understanding of what we tell repressors, anti-repressors, and like how the control of biological assembly happens. That also was extensively studied in case of P22 phage. And bacteriophage P22 is also a temperate phage. That means it can be in two types of life cycle, the lytic life cycle and lysogenic life cycle, like the lambda and the P1 phage. And when it is in a lytic cycle, generally there are immediate production of virions and their cells are lysed. In case of lysogenic cycle, the phage stays as a prophage until unless conditions are available for it to replicate. Now little about the structure. It also contains a head, that is the capsid, and a tail. This is also a double strand DNA. Phage is contained within the capsid, which is protected from environmental factors which can damage the DNA. The capsid is icosahedral symmetry with approximately 600 angstrom in diameter, and consists about 420 identical copies of 47 kilodalton gene products, which is called as GP5 or coat protein, product 5 coat protein. Mm, it's a very stable structure because nucleases and proteases are not able to successfully degrade in drying conditions. Um, the tail is composed of six trimers of 72 kilodaltons GP9 tail spike proteins. The tail spike protein serves as an organelle for attachment of the virus to the host cell during infection and is itself a very stable structure. So inside the capsid there is DNA which is like very stabilized by magnesium ions. So it is stably present inside the capsid, the genetic material. P2 infects Salmonella, that is the binding of the tail spike to the O antigen repeating units of bacterial lipopolysaccharide is the receptor. The interaction of the tail spike protein with this receptors, like it is very narrow range, narrow host range. Once bound to the tail spike, slowly it destroys the spike, the receptor, by cleaving the 1,3-O glycosidic bond between rhamnose and galactose unit. The virion carries up to six tail spike tail spikes, but only three are used for binding during infection. Once bound, the phage moves laterally across the cell surface through repeated cycles of binding and release to locate the second receptor to which it binds irreversibly. The double stranded DNA is then injected into the host cell in a linear fashion. The phage encodes pilot protein GP7, GP16, and GP20 are required to ensure DNA crosses the plasma membrane in an infectious form. Following infection, the double-stranded DNA circularizes by homologous recombination between the terminal redundant regions, yielding a circular double-stranded DNA that represents a single copy of phage genome. That is, like in a lysogenic state, the bacterial chromosome carries an integrated copy of bacteriophage chromosome termed as the prophage. In the prophage, the genes responsible for growth of the phage and subsequent death of the host are repressed through the action of specific repressor system. So this is the way genes are arranged on the double-stranded DNA genome of the P22 phage. And you can see the initial part is the INT, that is integration, and ERF, that is recombination important protein. And in the INT only there is excision mRNA also, which is not mentioned here. The repressors are the C1, C2, and C3. C1 and C3 are very important repressor that actively and that is helping in more expression of C2. Here important thing is there are two types of repressor systems in P22, that is C2 repressor and MNT repressor, and also one ANT protein is produced, ANT protein, which binds to C2 and relieves the repression of C2, that is the activation of lytic pathway. Rest all other genes are all structurally important gene which are very important in case of lytic cycle. SIE is also very important function because okay, we'll first talk about C2 MNT and then we'll come across SIE and how the ANT expression is also inhibited because ANT, that is anti-repressor protein expression is also though it is like if you say PR promoter, that is expressed in the lytic cycle, the late genes when they are expressed, this anti-repressor protein or mRNA is also expressed, but that is structurally controlled, but proteins are not made, and how that is also stopped, that also I'll mention. So coming to the how lysogenic cycle is established in the production of C2 and MNT repressors, we'll talk about now. And like once the DNA is inserted into the cytoplasm, the DNA has to be integrated into the chromosome. This is like the lambda phage, where you can remember the integrase will integrate the genome into the bacterial chromosome so that it stays there. Before that, there should be a repression of the lytic cycle, that is in the prophage. In the prophage, the genes responsible for the growth of the phage and subsequent death of the host are repressed through the action of the specific repressor system. This repressor system results in a phenomena known as immunity. In case of P22 and P2 phage, the genes which are responsible for the repression of the lytic cycle are called as the immunity related genes. Okay. If a host cell carrying a lysogen is subsequently superinfected by a phage carrying the same repressor system as the prophage, it is it will not grow, but it will be integrated, that it becomes the lysogen. There are two P22 repressor proteins called as the C2 and MNT, and they give rise to two immunity systems. First immunity C region is the C1, C2 and C3. The important one is the C2 repressor, which acts on PI and PR to prevent, that is basically in that operator region, OI and OR, to prevent the transcription of the early genes. The immunity by MNT acts to repress the transcription of ANT antirepressor. If MNT is turned off, ANT is synthesized, ANT binds to and inactivates the C2 repressor, with the result that the prophage enters the lytic pathway. The production of ANT itself is regulated through the action of ARC gene. In ARC mutant, high level of ANT are produced, and these levels block phage development. That is, when the ARC and MNT proteins are two members of the small family of proteins that use anti-parallel beta sheet motif rather than helix turn helix to bind to the operator region of the DNA. That the ANT gene, as I told, it is lies downstream of the plate associated proteins and is transcribed during the lysis cycle as a part of the late operon. The ANT protein is not synthesized because there is a promoter PSAR lies within the ANT gene and directs the synthesis of a 69 nucleotide long antisense RNA that binds to ANT messenger RNA and inhibits its translation. So, in order to form a stable lysogen, the phage genome has to integrate into the host. Otherwise, it would be like diluted during the cell division. Integration occurs preferentially at the site at B. Okay, I don't have the picture here. At B in the host chromosome, and requires the action of phage encoded integrase, that is the first protein here. When this P1 promoter is active, there you have the production of this integrase protein, and the host included integration host factor. The circular phage chromosome carries a similar site termed as at P. The phage contains at P, the bacterial chromosome contains at B. Okay, a single crossover event catalyzes the integration into protein to integrate the phage phage genome into the bacterial chromosome. So, if that integrated phage DNA has to enter to lytic cycle, it has to be excised, the reverse mechanism of integration To ensure excision does not take place prematurely, they require additional gene requires the additional function of exise gene product which overlaps with the INT in the genetic map. Entry into the lysogenic pathway is controlled by genes that is C1 and C3. These gene products stimulate the production of C2 repressor protein immediately after infection. C1 binds to promoter PRE, that is promoter repression establishment, or promoter PR as tetramer and stimulate C2 synthesis. High level expression of C2 requires for the entry into the lysogenic pathway, and that is what makes it a stable lysogen, that is overexpression of C2 protein. In addition to this, to the immunity confirmed by immunity C repressor system, the phage employs other mechanism to prevent superinfection, that is the host O antigen, which is the receptor, is inhibited. Which is the first is the modification of the host O antigen. This functions this is done by the gene encoded by A1 region. The genes are SIE-A and SIE-B, which blocks the superinfection. Now, when SIE-B is appears to lead the abortive infection, while superinfecting phage enters the cell, and early functions are normally expressed, late function expression is inhibited. SIE-A protein, which is a small protein of 18 kilodalton, that partitions into membrane and acts to block DNA from crossing the periplasmic space and entering the host cell, and therefore excludes virion DNA from entering the cell. Whatever the other type of DNA it is, it will not enter the cell. So that is about how lysogeny is established in case of P22 phage. Coming to P2 phage, P2 phage is also very similar to P22 phage. P2 phage was first isolated by G. Bertani, and since that time large number of P2 phages, subtypes like 186, HP1, HK239, etc. have been isolated and they are studied. They have a range of host. The common host is the E. coli, and other than that you can have the phage can multiply in strains of many species of Serratia, Klebsiella pneumoniae and Yersinia species, which are played very important role in horizontal gene transfer in bacterial evolution. P2 phage has double-stranded DNA genome packaged in a icosahedral capsid with a diameter of 60 nanometer, and that is like around 135 nanometer long tail present. If the tail ends in a base plate, which is control hub for the phage infectivity, that is the base plate include 6 tail fibers which initially bind to receptors on the bacterial cell wall, and a tail spike protein that subsequently binds irreversibly to other receptors on the cell wall. So the genome of bacteriophage P2 is 35 kilobase pairs of double-stranded linear DNA with cohesive ends. There are like 42 genes in the genome that can be divided into 3 main categories, that is genes required for lytic growth, genes involved in establishing and maintaining lysogeny, and the non-essential genes which are like, for example, OLD, TIN, and Z or FUN. So it is also a temperate phage. Bacteriophage can like enter the lytic cycle or the lysogenic cycle. It is a temperate phage. So adsorption of the virion to the host cell is a key step, which is like it recognizes and binds to the core region of lipopolysaccharide of E. coli, and then the phage would inject its DNA into the cytoplasm. Once it is inside the cytoplasm, the important region is the C gene, COX gene, and they play around to maintain the lysogeny. That is like early operon of bacteriophage P2 contains three genes, that is COX, COX, B and A. The COX gene codes for a repressor of which binds at PC, that is the C gene promoter PC, C gene which codes for immunity repressor, and INT gene whose product promotes the site specific recombination. Now if COX gene is more produced, then it goes and binds to the PC, which inhibits the production of integrase and the C gene, thereby no lysogeny. If COX gene is inhibited, then there is production of the lysogenic cycle. That is, during lysogenic cycle, P2 genome is inserted into the host chromosome and maintained as prophage. The integration involves the INT gene, that is the site specific recombinase. Okay, INT gene, that is that site specific recombinase between a bacterial at B site and that is the host at B site and the phage attachment site at P. Okay, which generates host phage junctions, that is at L and at R. This reaction is controlled by phage encoded integrase and leads to no gain or loss of nucleotides. Okay, another integration factor, that is host integration factor, is also important for the integration process and serves as an architectural protein that binds and bends the DNA. Thus the integration mechanism of phage P2 is similar to something what we have seen in lambda phage site specific recombination system. But here the proteins which carry out this, the integrase and the host specific factor, are different. The lysogenic state of the P2 is promoted and maintained by C repressor. It's a 99 amino acid polypeptide and binds to only one operator region, which regulates the expression of early genes, that is COX, B and A also. C repressor can both positively and negatively regulate its own PC promoter, as PC is upregulated at low C levels and downregulated at high C levels. If more of proteins is there, it can regulate its own production. This C repressor is not inactivated by SOS or REX system of E. coli, so the prophage is non-inducible by ultraviolet irradiation. Even if the C repressor is inactivated, the P2 prophage is unable to excise due to lack of INT expression, which can carry out excision and integration both. P2 has been regarded as the prototype for non-inducible class of temperate phages. Okay. So coming to the next phage, that is the muphage. Muphage, it's an interesting phage which belongs to the family Myoviridae and genus Muphage. It is a non-enveloped phage. It also has head and tail structure. The head is a icosahedral head and it is 54 nanometer. And if you see from electron microscope pictures, it looks like a knob. The way this icosahedron is uh, arranged, it looks like a knob like structure. The tails is contractile and has a base plate and a short six base fibers, that is the tail fibers. The genome here is a linear double-stranded DNA genome of 40 kilobase pairs encoding 56 protein, like 50 to 150 base pair at the left and the right. You have changes, like for example at the right and the left you have the host DNA which is carried by this phage. The left may include like 50 to 150 base pair of host DNA, and variable amount of DNA can be at the right side. It can go maximum up to 2 kilobase pairs, because the headful packaging mechanism of the muphage. The A and B gene products encode transposase. These are very important. The A protein is required for all transposition events, but the B protein is only required for replicative transposition. That means when you have the muphage infecting, they and introducing its DNA into the bacterial cell, then the DNA has to be integrated into the genome. That is, the first A protein is very important because it carries out non-replicative or cut and place mechanism of transposition. Further, when there is like a production of more mu replication is important of the mu DNA, then you have the B protein which is carrying out the transposition, that is replicative transposition events occur. And expression of transposase gene is repressed by C gene product. Transposition requires the two ends, that is the mu at L and at R. These regions are also called as mu L and mu R also. Now coming to the infection of mu, the other genes which are in between are structural genes, that is coding for head and tail region, and other specific for the host range. Coming to the infection, the virion fibers attach to the host cell surface, that is it recognizes lipopolysaccharides, thereby initiating the infection. That is the stage 1. Second, you follow this numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 as I tell. And number 2 is like once it binds to the host cell, the base plate, it changes the conformation and triggers the sheath to contract, driving the rigid internal tail tube through the cell envelope, okay, leading to viral genome entry. The genome of the mu, that is double stranded, is linear, and maximum the length can go is 37 kilobase pair in length, and encodes 56 genes. The ends are like the carried over by the host. If you include that also, it becomes around 40 kb. The important proteins are the N proteins. The third step, the important proteins are the N proteins, that is the early gene expression protein, which is present in the virion, is ejected with and binds to the viral DNA in order to circularize it. The the DNA is thus protected from the host nuclease. Once the circularization happens, the DNA is not degraded. It is present as the circular DNA molecule. Now the important step starts, that is the fourth step. It's the integration step. So in the step 3, there is early transcription also, that gives rise to two important proteins, that is the RepC and the NER repressors, and the DDE recombinase A, or else it is commonly called as mu A, M capital U A, which performs the integration. That is, the flanking bacterial sequences are cut away from the viral genome prior to integration. The ratio of RepC, that is step 5, the ratio of RepC and the NER repressors determine if the phage enters the latency or the lytic cycle. RepC represses the early promoter, thereby establishing latency. NER represses the RepC expression, thereby promoting early gene expression, leading to onset of viral replication. So when the repressor RepC is inactivated, both DDE recombinase mu A and the target DNA activator B, that is mu B, are expressed. Mu A is a part of transposome complex, which performs the recombination between the viral genome ends and the host DNA. The viral host DNA structure is resolved by target primed replication. The second one, the target primed replication, leading to two copies of the viral genome. So there is a cut made by the mu A in association with HU protein, and on the target DNA also. Then with association with mu B, it integrates the viral genome into the host DNA site, target site, and then it can undergo a repair mechanism strategy to allow the final integration, or it can undergo replication based mechanism, where it makes two copies of the host replicates and gets integrated into the host genome. The viral host DNA structure is resolved by target primed replication, leading to two copies of the viral genome. This process is called replicative transposition. Uh, Lysogeny in mu is an important question, and people have asked in many question paper. The selection of the transposition sites is performed by mu B. Successive rounds of replication transposition can lead to up to 100 copies of viral genome. That is the steps 6. Coming to step 7, once this is the replication is also happening, and there is late transcription, allow the expression of certain adenine modifying enzymes, which modifies the adenine in the viral DNA in order to make it resistant to the host restriction enzymes. The new viral particles that are formed are thus protected, that is viral genome copies. Now parallelly there can be induction, that is production of the coat proteins and all, assembly and excision out of this viral genome, and then lysis. That is the whole cycle. But in the lysogenic cycle, the host DNA gets the viral DNA, and it is there for a period of time before there is induction. Lysogens, if they are in lysogenic state, they are quite stable, and they are not simply induced by UV or induced by DNA damage agents. There are some temperature sensitive mu repressors which can help in the shifting the lysogeny. Okay, so this is a short about bacteriophages which we have studied. I have missed out 5x174. Please try to incorporate 5x174 also. Uh, about P1, P2, P22, mu, what is the host, what is the length, what is the DNA, and you can make your own chart of how lysogeny is established in P1, how lysogeny is established in P2, 22, and mu. Mu is simplest because you would have already studied in BSc, that is transposition is unique in mu because of the presence of end sites and transposase enzyme. P1, P2, P22, and then lambda, you have to concentrate on the repressor systems. One more thing you have in your syllabus, that is the RNA phages. Now there are 13 bacteriophages family, that is double stranded DNA, non-enveloped double stranded DNA, enveloped single strand DNA, and apart from that 13 in including in that 13 families you have the RNA phages. This RNA phages can be single stranded RNA phages and double stranded RNA phages. So I have taken one example of single stranded RNA phages and double stranded RNA phages, and we'll see about the RNA phages. I mean, in single stranded RNA phages, they are beautiful phages. In single stranded RNA phages, there are two phages which are highly studied. There are two genus, Livivirus genus and Allo-Livivirus genus. I have taken Livivirus genus, and the example for that is MS2. Allo-Livivirus genus, the Q beta is also a good example, but what I have chosen here is Livivirus genus, that is MS2, to explain. These RNA viruses total together, they contain little more than little less than 4500 nucleotides. They are single stranded RNA bacteriophages. All they have certain modification at the 5' end and at the 3' end. At the 5' end you have the triphosphate G guanine, and at the 3' end you have the characteristic CCA at the 3' end. They are structurally very important because they have a beautiful secondary structure which formed by the base pairing between the bases of this single stranded, that is important for the stability. This study was like started in 1961, that gave out many important understanding things like how RNA translation is done, and what is the regulation of protein synthesis. Like in vitro, you can take this RNA and put the host synthesis machinery, and you can get many proteins synthesized. So how RNase protection is using the RNase protection assay, there was identification of ribosomal binding sites on the mRNA was provided by this small RNA bacteriophages study. So they were very important in understanding the protein RNA interaction. Okay, so coming to this structure about Liviviruses, how the genome is organized. I have told this the whole small RNA, single stranded RNA genome containing phages are like less than 4500 nucleotide, and MS2 is 3500 nucleotide. It has like 4 proteins which are importantly produced from the same single stranded RNA, that is A protein, coat protein, and the replicase and lysis important protein. A protein is an assembly protein, and one copy of 40 kilodalton protein per virus particle is present. So it has to be highly regulated. You cannot have more of A protein produced. It's very interesting how this regulation is happening. This It's also important because A protein is the one with the RNA, it is recognizing the receptors, that is the pili of the bacteria, and then it mediates the RNA entry during infection. The other important protein is the coat protein. Around 180 copies of coat protein are required for the capsid assembly. which forms icosahedral capsid, and also it has a repression activity which represses the replicase synthesis. Replicase, it's a 61 kilodalton RNA dependent RNA polymerase protein. It complexes with the other host proteins to form the replicase holoenzyme. Then other one protein is there, that is the lysis protein, which is important for the lysis of the bacterial cell at the end of the lytic cycle, and it is produced by the frame shift using the portion of the ribosome that is like in the translation of the coat protein, that is overlapping the coat protein and the replicase protein. Now, how are this virus infection happens? As I previously mentioned, that the pili is the recognition site on the bacteria. So they are like F positive. They are very selective. The one which carries the F factor will have this pili, and then they are selective in the host. Phage particles bind effectively to host pili. Recognition of the pili determines the host range. The A protein functions to mediate binding to host pili. During binding, the A protein is cleaved into 15 and 24 kilodalton subunits, and the virion disassemble to release the viral RNA and A protein subunit. The two A protein subunits remain associated with viral RNA. The RNA and the subunits move along the pili and enter the cell. The RNA at this phase of infection is sensitive to RNase. The RNA and the A protein subunit penetrate the host cell membrane. This uncoated or the naked RNA can be used to infect spirophores whose cell wall have been removed, so that the only RNA is required for the infection to be successful. Once the RNA is inside the cytoplasm, the first step is the synthesis of the coat protein, that is translation of CP happens. That is normal recognition. The translation is the AUG, which is like very accessible to the ribosome. This single stranded RNA has complex the secondary structure, like I told in the previous slide, about 35% of the genome is like with the secondary structure because of the base pairing. So only accessible starting code on AUG is the coat protein, where the ribosomes assemble. So ribosomes, once they are assembled and they are starting translation, they also cause the structural changes during translation of mRNA that can regulate the protein expression in prokaryotes. Like similar to the prokaryotes, ribosomes open up the polymerase region, that is the synthesis of replicase starts. Now you have the coat protein synthesized, you have the replicase which is getting accumulated in the early replication. So there is, as you have more and more coat proteins that is formed, it has some regulatory function also, because these coat proteins, they form the complexes. The many coat protein aggregate to form complexes and bind strongly to replicase initiation site, that is AUG. Ribosomes then will be unable to access the region for synthesis of replicase. Only coat protein is synthesized and the replicases synthesis is silenced. Coat protein synthesis continues throughout the replication. Now the other important protein is the A protein, which has to be bound to the genome. So the A protein synthesis requires the replication. A protein initiation site is GUG of the full length viral RNA is blocked by the secondary structure and is inaccessible to the ribosome. The replicase copies the viral RNA into a minor strand and this is then copied into the progeny plus strand. So when this progeny first plus strand is getting synthesized, there is access to the GUG, and there is the ribosome begins the synthesis of the A protein. The newly synthesized A protein binds to the progeny MS2 RNA molecule to facilitate entry into the newly formed virus particle. So, as the nascent progeny strands elongate and the conformation changes to block GUG initiation, so there is enough time for the A protein to be synthesized, because more of A protein is not required. Very few copies will bind to the uh, RNA. The next protein which has to be synthesized is the lysis protein. The initiation codon for the lysis gene is immediately downstream, but it is out of frame termination codon inside the coat protein gene. A small portion of the ribosome translating the coat protein ORF terminates prematurely at these stop codons. So these ribosomes dissociate from the incomplete coat protein molecules and shift the reading frame to begin the lysis ORF. So once enough of the protein is synthesized, there is assembly of the RNA and the A protein and other coat proteins, and the icosahedral capsids are arranged, and there is lysis and exit of the MS2 phage. So this is about the single stranded phage. Now coming to the double stranded phage, these are also RNA containing phage. They belong to a single family, and there is only one genus, that is cystovirus in the family. So most of this fall into the same genus Cystoviridae. The family Cystoviridae includes enveloped viruses with a tri-segmented double-stranded RNA genome enclosed in one or two concentric icosahedrally symmetrical protein shell. So the innermost protein layer is a polymerase complex. So in this, you can see the innermost layer, there is a polymerase complex responsible for genome packaging, replication and transcription. Cystovirus infects gram-negative bacteria, primarily pan-pathogenic Pseudomonas syringae strains. So coming to the structure, they are enveloped virions. Looking at this, they are spherical in shape and about 85 nanometer in diameter, and you can see there are like little things which are coming out. There are the spike proteins which are there, that is P3 and P6. The envelope surrounds an isometric nucleocapsid of 58 nanometer in diameter, which contains the nucleic acid. The nucleic acid here, it is like in 3 segment. They are linear double stranded RNA. Segment size is like segment L, M and S. 3 segments are there. Segment L is 6.4 to 7.1 kilobase pairs, and then segment M is 3.6 to 4.7 kilobase pair. Segment S is 2.3 to 3.2 kilobase pair. The complete genome total, if you take it, it may range between 12 to 15 kilobase pair. And the important thing to mention about the genome is GC content is more than 50%. That is, it may range to 58% of the genome. So the viral particles of the each 3 fragments contain single copy. So there are more of RNA, so the RNA genome may cost up to 10% of the virion weight. So the coming to the proteins that constitute about 70% of the virion weight, the viral genome encodes structural and non-structural proteins. The envelope contains several integral membrane proteins, including the fusogenic protein P6. So if you see here, there are so many proteins, P1, P2, and then you have P3 to maximum of P13. So the envelope contains several integral membrane proteins, including the fusogenic protein P6 and major envelope protein P9. Receptor spike protein P3 is anchored to the envelope via the P6. In some of cystovirus, the spikes is composed of several different polypeptides, proteins P8, which forms the nucleocapsid surface shell or is associated with the membrane. P5 is a lytic enzyme associated with the nucleocapsid structure. There is one more protein P1, that is a major capsid protein, forms the structural skeleton of the polymerase complex. There is a protein P2, is the viral replicase and transcriptase and is located in interior of the P1 shell. P4 is a nucleoside triphosphate required for the genome packaging and transcription. P7 is a major capsid protein and is an assembly factor. And there are non-structural proteins, that is P12 here. Non-structural proteins which are in red, that is the P12, is a morphogenic protein that is probably involved in envelope assembly. There are other proteins which are also might be expressed as non-structural proteins. Yeah, the virions may contains like 20% of lipid by weight, and this lipid to cover about one half of the envelope surface area. Viral lipids are derived from the host plasma membrane. The lipid composition of the viral envelope and the host plasma membrane are very similar. So there are distinct non-coding region at the termini of the three genome segments, contain signals for genome packaging and replication. You can see that genes are clustered into functional groups. Those encode polymerase complex, envelope associated protein, and nucleocapsid. Virions, now coming to infective cycle, virions are adsorbed either through a rough lipopolysaccharide layer or two pili of the host bacterium. The virion envelope fuses with the host outer membrane, and the nucleocapsid associated lytic enzyme locally digests the peptidoglycan layer. Delivery of the viral polymerase complex into the host cytoplasm involves an endocytic like process at the host plasma membrane. The viral genome is transcribed by the virion associated RNA dependent RNA polymerase within the polymerase complex. Early in the infection, equal amounts of messenger RNAs are produced from L, M, and S segments. Later in the infection cycle, transcripts of M and S segments predominate. Transcription is semi-conservative and transcription is semi-conservative and produces full length copies of the genome segment. So it has RNA dependent RNA polymerase. Viral mRNAs are polycistronic. The translation of L segment transcript produces early proteins which assemble to form empty polymerase complex. These package the three positive strand transcript, negative strand synthesis then take place inside the polymerase complex. RNA packaging and replication induce structural changes in the polymerase complex, that is expansion happens. Transcription by these polymerase complexes produces messages for late protein synthesis. The nucleocapsid surface shell assembles on the protein polymerase complex. So the nucleocapsids acquire proteins like P5 and the envelope protein. Spikes are also assembled on the envelope surface. Mature virions are released upon host induced cell lysis. So the overall uh, the infection host is the Pseudomonas syringae, and the example is Pseudomonas phage 56. The virion is enveloped virion, and two concentric icosahedral symmetric protein layers are present inside. That is the genome. Genome is trisegmented, linear double stranded, and replication is by single strand genomic precursor molecules are packaged into the viral polymerase complex. The packaged RNA molecules are replicated and transcribed within the particle. Translation: viral proteins are translated from polycistronic mRNA, generally infects gram-negative bacteria, and there is only one genus, that is Cystoviridae. So this completes the lysogeny in case of P1, P2, P22 and mu phage, and about RNA phage.